Do you know what this chess master's name is? What about him? Or him? Well, friends, these are some of the unsung heroes in chess. You might have seen their faces before or might not have, but they have each contributed to chess in their own really cool ways. And today we are going to look at exactly who they are and what they did. So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button for more of your favorite chess content. Just one small disclaimer, these aren't the easiest names to pronounce, so do bear with me. We're going to learn them together and hopefully remember exactly how to pronounce them. And we are starting with Dragoljub Velimirovic. Maybe you recognize the surname, and that's because it's a line in a super popular Sicilian defense. But let's speak about Dragoljub. Now, Dragoljub had some really cool nicknames as well. First of all, one of them was the Boss, which I just thought was one of the coolest nicknames anyone can give you. But he was also familiarly known as Drasko, and we will call him as such. Now, Drasko, born in Yugoslavia, was a super attacking and imaginative player, and you can see this in a lot of his games. Now, we also mentioned Drasko's contribution to theory, specifically in the Sicilian. And let's take a look at one of these lines that is named after him, the Velimirovic attack, and it goes like this. It's from white side, by the way, so let's take a look. e4, c5, knight f3, d6, your normal Sicilians. We have a whole other post and video about that, link down below if you want to go check that out. Knight f6, knight c3, super normal Sicilian stuff, bishop c4, e6, bishop e3, bishop e7, and now white plays queen e2. The reason for queen e2 is that white is preparing to castle on the queen side. And queen e2 works better than queen d2 because it doesn't allow black's knight to hop into g4 to attack this bishop and threaten a trade of pieces. So this is Drasko's line. He had a lot of good successes in it, and it very much suited his style. Now, of course, every champion, every player we're going to talk about here has their own biography available on Forward Chess, and it's really cool to look at and learn about their lives, the style of chess they played, and just their successes on and off the board. For Drasko, there is the book, The Life and Games of Grandmaster Dragoljub Velimirovic, Volume 1, which was actually co-written by his own daughter. So we get a really cool, unique perspective. Let's take a look at exactly his style, just to give you one little more glimpse of what he would play. Take, for example, this position over here. It looks very normal for white, probably to push a3 or f3 makes sense. But in his style, Drasko played bishop takes e6, sacrificing the bishop, knight captures after, and of course, you know, even though this wasn't sound, black still wasn't a computer, and it wasn't he wasn't able to defend this position. You can take a look at the whole game in the book's free sample, which will also be linked down below. Next up, let's talk about Boris Verlinsky. A much easier name to pronounce, first of all, but Boris Verlinsky is actually a pretty huge name. He played chess during the dominant Soviet era, and he actually won the Soviet chess championships in 1929. So maybe you haven't heard of him as much because of his super famous contemporaries, but Verlinsky beat a lot of top players, including Alekhine and Capablanca himself. We have a whole game listed in our blog post about these champions, where you can take a look at his game against Capablanca. It's like 60 moves, so it's super long, but it's interactive, so go ahead, check this game out. But what I wanted to talk about Verlinsky is he did not really have the easiest life. He became deaf at a very young age due to meningitis. But this didn't stop him. He continued to excel at a very high level in chess. And by winning the 1929 Soviet Championships, he was initially given the title of Grandmaster, which would have made him the first Soviet Grandmaster. Unfortunately, drama likes to follow in chess, or insert itself in chess. And this title was controversially removed in 1931. And as such, Botvinnik is known to be the first Soviet Grandmaster. But of course, Verlinsky is the first unofficial, shall we say. I don't know, a lot of controversy. Go look up on that. There's a book called titled The First Grandmaster of the Soviet Union, which really stands by him. I think that's a very big statement to make, and it sheds a light on Verlinsky's life and career and the big name that he is and should be remembered as. Finally, let's talk about Vsevolod Rauzer, and yes, this is how you pronounce the name, or at least my research has told me, so if I'm wrong, please do correct me. But Rauzer is an important name to know for many reasons, as are all the champions that we've been speaking about. But of course, there's the Richter-Rauzer attack in opening theory. But in general, Rauzer contributed so much to opening theory that he would build upon his contemporaries at the time. And he would spend 16 hours a day on opening theory or theoretical research, just really devoting his time and his life to chess, and particularly with openings. He had a strong belief that e4 was superior to d4, which I know a lot of you will agree on, not me, but anyways. And he just kept working at all these lines, building on improving the current theory, and a lot of what we have today can very much be seen as coming from Rauzer, or at least having been influenced by Rauzer. Let's take a look at the opening that was named after him, the Richter-Rauzer attack. That has white playing e4, another Sicilian, which I suppose we find familiar in this video. So after knight c6, white plays bishop g5, e6, and queen d2. So similar to what we saw previously, this time the bishop is developing all the way to g5, queen d2, white wants to castle queenside. And this is familiarly known as a Richter-Rauzer attack in the Sicilian defense. Now, of course, I think spending 6 hours a day on opening theory can't be the sanest thing to do, let's say. And that's why I really like this book title. It's called Obsession, a chess biography of Vsevolod Rauzer. I know I said that wrong, but we said it right the first time. And it really sheds light on his opening, the way his opening laboratory, what he did, how he influenced it, and how it has developed since in history. So it's a very interesting book, and just as all of the books we've spoken about today, it tells you about his life and his chess career. So Rauzer's highest rating is thought to be about 26, 27. Unfortunately, his promising chess career came to a very abrupt end when he unfortunately passed away quite early in about 1940. So yeah, you can take a look at this book. It talks about his opening creations. Also check out the book's free sample if you just want to have a little sneak peek. But yeah, I think every single one of these players had some huge contribution to chess. and their names should be etched in history just like all the other great players we always talk about. And that's all for today. Thanks everyone. Let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about next and who you think an unsung hero is that deserves a little bit more attention.